Head coach Charlie Toomey, Loyola men's lacrosse. Coach, tell us a little bit about what the strengths of your team are coming out of spring practice this year, going into your season opener against Delaware.
You know, after watching us play this past weekend against Maryland, I'm hoping that we can say that the defense is going to be a strength for our team. I'm real happy with the way we competed down there. Obviously, it's still early in the year, and teams are working on personnel and schemes. But to play a team and to compete and to give up 3 goals, we're hopeful that going forward we can be a team that can rely on our defense to hold teams to 8. And so we'll see. And between the lines, we'd like to be able to say that we're going to be a team that's trying to play a little bit faster. But then on the offensive end, I think we've got some guys that can really shoot the ball with velocity this year. A kid like Sawyer and Lusby and O'Sullivan and Chris Lane, stepping in on for us as some new faces can really give us some potential of being a pretty talented offensive team.
You lost 2 of your starting attackers from last year, Matt Lang and Chris Palmer, but you just mentioned a couple guys that are coming in both on your attack and also in your midfield. Eric Lusby returning from an injury, Sean O'Sullivan, Chris Lane coming in as transfers who will play on your midfield units. What do those guys bring to you and add to Mike Sawyer and some of the guys who've been here before?
Well, they're new faces, but they're also bringing leadership. They're coming in as juniors, and certainly in Eric's case, he's in our graduate program. So, you're going to rely on them to help you through some tough times and score some big goals in big games. But you're not looking at a freshman to do it. So, I think that it's been easy for us in that locker room to kind of let them lead. We need them to do that because it takes a little pressure off of the guy you didn't mention, Justin Ward. It takes a little pressure off of Nico Pontrello, who are the younger guys that, again, need some senior leadership, some junior leadership out there with them.
You lose a 4-year starter in goal in Jake Hagelin. You've got some new guys in the cage there this year. What do they bring to you as far as they're different looking guys out there, and what do you expect from them?
It's been nice to coach again. I feel like, we went through the fall and we definitely talked a little bit about technique, and, you didn't have to do that with Hags as a 4-year. You kind of just warm them up and let them go. And now, as coaches, we've been challenged, and we're challenging those guys on a daily basis to really win the starting spot. And again, last weekend we were very excited about our play in the goal. To have 13 saves and 3 allowed. We really didn't learn much. We weren't able to look at it and say, okay, you're our starter. They both played so well. So as long as we've got a healthy rivalry there, we'd like to designate one guy as the starter. But again, I'm a statistics guy, and we'll take those types of numbers any point.
Who are some of the guys who haven't necessarily stepped on the field for Loyola before who are going to contribute this year? You've mentioned Chris Lane and Sean O'Sullivan and Nico Pontrello, and then your 2 goalies, Bonatatabas and Runkle.
Yeah, you probably would look at Joe Fletcher down low defensively. He was a 4th defenseman for us last year. He probably will earn he'll earn the starting spot. He's looked good in the fall and certainly early part of the spring. Kyle Duffy has really stepped into his own as a short stick for us. Everybody knows Laconi and Hawkins, but Kyle Duffy and Matt Sawyer, Michael's brother, we've kind of moved him down to a defensive short stick role, still giving him the ability to play some offense, but we need some depth there, and so we're going to rely on those guys.
You talk about JP at the X. You lose John Schiavone, an outstanding All-American type face-off guy. What do you expect from that unit this year?
Coach Fakeness is mildly excited. He knows he's got some work to do. John Schiavone was a terrific face-off guy for us, similar to Hags. You knew he was just going to run out there, and you had a good 50-50 shot plus to win the next ground ball. This year might be a little different. We might not be getting it out as quickly and picking it up on our own. We might rely on our wing play a little more, but we also think we're pretty athletic on the wings with Scott Ratliff and Kevin Moriarty coming off the wing, or Josh Hawkins or a Davis Butts. We have some options. So, JP is developing into being the number 1, but we also feel like Phil Dobson and Devin Lepsch, and there's a cast of guys up there that are working with JP on a daily basis.
You talk about your wing play. Those are also some guys that key your transition play as well, Hawkins and Ratliff especially. You say that you want to be playing fast in between the lines. What does your transition game bring to the field this year?
Well, I think anytime you can create an uneven situation, you want to take advantage of it. And what we're trying to do is to just give ourselves the best opportunity to run some early offense, and see what we can get out of that. Again, it's not a bad thing if we're running out there with Sean O'Sullivan and Chris Lane and Davis Butts to run 6-on-6, but I'd rather run between the lines with Hawkins and Ratliff and push a 5-on-4 or 4-on-3, and that's what our challenge is to really, it starts in the goal. We got to make saves. We can't make stops. We got to make saves, and a save now you can get the ball over the top. And so we're just pushing our guys to try and play a little bit faster, but we'll see. Again, you have to make saves.
Talk a little bit about the ECAC Lacrosse League. You've got a Final Four team in Denver, and then you've got some other people who were picked in the poll just behind you: Fairfield, Ohio State, on down the list, Air Force, Hobart, Bellarmine. What does this league represent, and what does it present as a challenge for you guys?
I think year in, year out, you start with the travel. It's something that you can either embrace or you can dread, and I think we're learning to embrace it. I think we still are talking about needing to go on the road. This year we're on the road for 5 conference games, and that's a challenge. But it's also something that our guys are excited to do, to go out in Michigan and play a game, to go to Denver to play a game. We have Ohio State at home, I believe, but to go down to Louisville and play a game. Those are exciting things for us. So, you've got quality opponents, but you got to handle the travel first and get to Saturday, and hopefully we'll be healthy, and hopefully we'll be prepared, and we'll go out and our guys are excited about this league.
Tell us a little bit about what Mike Sawyer brings to the field. He was a first-team All-ECAC player last year, honorable mention preseason All-America this year. What does he bring as a junior, to your attack?
I think the game's slowing down for Mike. I think that Mike is now, understanding situations, understanding tempo, understanding how to lead, understanding how to prepare the right way for Division I lacrosse games, and he's a big part of our success. If we need Mike to get his touches, if we're going to be the team that we want to be, but. Fortunately, right now, we're not a team that's going to totally rely on Mike. We've got some pieces around him to allow him to be successful.
ECAC adds Michigan next year. You talked about the travel a little bit, but what does that do for a national profile for you and a program who, even though they haven't played a D1 game yet, has garnered a lot of attention?
Absolutely. From a branding standpoint, I think it brings instant credibility to the ECAC. When you're aligning yourself with programs like Ohio State and Michigan, that's a pretty good thing. For being a smaller school of 4,000, it's something where you probably could put a chip on your shoulder every time you go out there. But again, it's great for our league. It's great for recruiting. It's something that brings notoriety to the ECAC.